Hello and welcome to episode 2 of season 7 of the Change Troubleshooter. I'm here again with Nina as we celebrate 20 years of Cheeky Monkey Business Solutions. In the first episode, we asked about how the whole thing came about, and we're going to continue in that vein with a little bit more history on Cheeky Monkey. So tell me, Nina, did you have a philosophy for Cheeky Monkey when you started the business?
I did. And we had a philosophy more than a vision and mission, which was more popular at the time because visions and missions just seemed so corporate. And of course, we were trying to be everything but corporate. So a philosophy seemed more in keeping with our culture and brand. And it was. Say what no one wants to say, but everybody wants to hear. Do and say the unthinkable for the management team. It talked about us delivering business benefits that went way beyond the project headlines. It talked about us being 100% fearless about our focus on business change for the better and for the bottom line. It said we were challenging and probing and enabling and empowering. And most importantly to us, it made it clear that we were unstuffy, a little bit unusual, definitely quirky, and unafraid to have fun.
And why was that important to you?
It was important because a philosophy guides decision making. It sets you really on a path that you don't want to step away from. And so that all your actions that follow that are consistent and aligned to something that you truly believe in. And we felt it would help us build a strong brand identity, which it did. And that in turn would start to weave the company culture as it grew and as people joined, because this is what we'd be able to explain to them right from the beginning. And that would also help us drive strong customer engagement. And we always said at the beginning that it was like a filtering process, like the name Cheeky Monkey was its own filtering process. Because if you thought this was ridiculous and you thought our little animations were ridiculous, you would probably think our approach was ridiculous as well. But if you loved it, then, as we've said, back in 2004 and in those early years, this was so different, then we knew you would love it and do something long-lasting with it. And so we knew it would support long-term relationships and growth with our customer base.
So a bit of a sort of you either get it or you don't get it kind of thing. And if you get it, you get it. If you don't, it's probably not for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So philosophy, a bit like a rule book, really, of how you're going to be as a company.
A guide.
And you stay,
more
guide,
like
you stay within.
a guide.
Yeah. And did having the philosophy help you get things right all the time?
No. Definitely no. Because I think when you do this and it embodies what it did embody for Cheeky Monkey, then really, I think when I look back to those early days, I probably went too far with it. I was so blunt. I was so honest. I was so committed to those two first statements that we would say what everyone didn't want to say but wanted to hear, and we'd say the unthinkable. I really took that to heart, and in some cases I think I can't believe some of the things I said in some of the situations. Now, don't get me wrong, never, there were some lines that were never crossed because I had my own ethical boundaries, and thankfully they were never to be crossed. But in terms of being on the receiving end of some of those things that we wanted to say and do, I think it was safe to say it was definitely tough love.
Yeah. Did you ever get chucked out of a company for them not liking what you'd said?
Never.
No.
Never.
So
never. But they did. There was instances with individuals. There was probably instances with my own team where they were upset or startled or maybe amazed at a response to something, and then there had to be a moment of saying, whoa, actually, maybe that does not come across in the way that I meant it, or I hadn't been open enough, or that's not the right thing. I hadn't been in tune enough with maybe the emotions of the people on the receiving end of it.
I just want to talk about role models a little bit, because talking earlier you said that role models have always been important to you. Why do you think that is?
Well, it was role models that helped me really with the philosophy, because when you don't really get it right all the time, then it was so important for me to be able to sit back with other people and say, why? Like I said, we've made it clear, here we are, what we do. Why are they so surprised now that this is what they're getting? And my mum and dad have been huge role models for me throughout. I mean, of course, throughout my life, but also throughout Cheeky Monkey. And then I had other people that helped me along the way, and it was so important because they have always inspired and guided and I suppose reinforced those core values, and those the role models, if they are right, really set a standard for your own excellence. Really, they're the check and balance, or I use them that way, and they helped me align my actions with my values, and then they took me and inspired sort of innovation and growth that could come from that, and how we could use that to strengthen customer and partner relationships. And it was absolutely invaluable.
So is there anything that they specifically did, your parents, that they as role models for Cheeky Monkey?
Well, I think parents as role models very often shape our values, our work ethic, and our approach to challenges. We are sponges as we're grown up, and we, whether it's consciously or unconsciously, are taking things that really do shape those areas as we get older and go into our own work environments. But I think more specifically for my parents, they knew that it was important for me to have a very trustworthy, ethical and people-centered brand. And then so they always focused on those areas that were important in making that. So if I think back, it was things like honesty and integrity, tenacity, objectivity, kindness, generosity, and a real strong inner core. I mean, people often said to me, where do you get your inner confidence from? And I just didn't understand what that meant for a long time. But I think that inner confidence came from having these fantastic role models and these areas that I'd always worked on with them. And most importantly, I guess, the underlying message from them that you work hard, you strive to be the best, but always make sure you're having fun.
Yeah. Would you say that you are a role model for anybody? I know that's not in my question list.
not in your question list.
Would you say you are? Do you
I don't
think you might be?
I don't think I am the right person to ask that. I think you have to ask other people whether I'm a good role model for them. I don't think that's something I can respond to.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Right. Well, we're going to keep this one short today, and we'll wrap it up there. So thank you, and we'll see you all again. And you'll be listening, I hope, to the next time we do this. So thanks again, Nina, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.